Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this special report on a significant international development unfolding in early 2026 between the United States and Venezuela, involving military action and economic measures. Our story begins with a closer look at the geographical context, highlighting the two nations, the United States in North America and Venezuela in South America, at the center of this evolving geopolitical situation in the Caribbean region. The events leading up to January 2026 have been a complex series of political and economic maneuvers, including months of U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean with the deployment of the USS Gerald R. Ford and the seizure of Venezuelan crude oil tankers in December 2025, all escalating tensions significantly. In a dramatic turn in January 2026, the United States launched Operation Absolute Resolve, which culminated in the swift capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, right in the heart of Caracas by U.S. forces. Maduro was subsequently transported to the United States aboard a military aircraft to face serious federal charges, including narco-terrorism, drug trafficking, and other related offenses, marking a pivotal and historic moment in the region's turbulent history. Following this bold intervention, President Trump announced that the U.S. would temporarily govern Venezuela to ensure a smooth political transition, stabilize the country, and most importantly, restore its vital oil production capabilities to previous levels. However, Secretary of State Marco Rubio soon clarified the U.S. position, stating that rather than direct governance, the U.S. would implement a strict oil quarantine on Venezuelan exports, with all proceeds from the oil firmly controlled by the President of the United States. This economic angle rapidly shifted global focus to Venezuela's vast oil reserves, with specific estimates indicating 30 to 50 million barrels of high-quality sanctioned oil now being prepared and readied for shipment to secure markets. The massive logistics of this operation involved a huge movement of resources across the seas, with multiple large oil tankers setting course directly for key U.S. ports along the Gulf Coast and East Coast. Upon safe arrival at these U.S. ports, storage ships were observed meticulously unloading the valuable crude oil cargo through extensive pipelines into massive storage facilities, representing a critical step in securing this strategic supply. President Trump himself took to social media platforms to directly announce these groundbreaking developments, effectively shaping public perception, international discourse, and the ongoing narrative surrounding the Venezuelan intervention. Meanwhile, Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez initially issued strong condemnations of the U.S. operation, but later adopted a more conciliatory tone. Following a Supreme Court ruling, she assumed the role of acting president for a 90-day transitional period. The United States justified its decisive intervention by citing the Maduro regime's alleged involvement in narco-terrorism, widespread drug trafficking, and the severe democratic decline in Venezuela, particularly highlighted by the highly controversial 2024 presidential elections. President Trump further alleged that Venezuela had previously stolen oil from American companies operating there and expressed strong interest in having U.S. firms invest heavily to rebuild and modernize Venezuela's aging and deteriorated oil infrastructure. Expert analysis is absolutely crucial for fully understanding the profound political, economic, and strategic implications of this U.S. action, which are far-reaching and could reshape alliances and markets for years to come. This intervention also unexpectedly reignited long-standing debate about Greenland, with President Trump reiterating his keen interest in the United States acquiring the territory, thereby adding yet another intriguing layer to the broader geopolitical landscape. Venezuela's oil production had dramatically declined to just 800,000 to 900,000 barrels per day in recent years, a stark and troubling contrast to its historical output levels of over 3 million barrels daily in the past. Experts agree that restoring production back to those previous robust levels would require substantial and sustained investment, estimated at $10 to $20 billion annually over the course of an entire decade. Moreover, some comprehensive estimates for a full-scale infrastructure overhaul in Venezuela's oil sector reach an astonishing $180 to $200 billion, truly underscoring the immense scale and long-term challenge ahead. The global reaction to these fast-moving events has been decidedly mixed. featuring sharp condemnation from certain quarters alongside notable support from others across the international community. Traditional allies of the Maduro regime, such as China and Russia, issued strong condemnations of the U.S. intervention, while UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres voiced deep alarm and emphasized the critical importance of upholding international law. Prominent international law experts have questioned the overall legality of the U.S. intervention under current global norms, thereby sparking an intense and ongoing debate about national sovereignty, intervention rights, and established international precedents. Even among U.S. allies, reactions proved mixed. For instance, Italy voiced support for the action primarily as a necessary response to rampant drug trafficking, while France sharply criticized it as a clear violation of international law principles. Overall, the U.S. intervention in Venezuela undeniably presents a web of complex political, economic, and legal challenges that demand careful navigation in the days ahead. Ultimately, the long-term consequences for the entire region, the volatile global oil market, and broader international diplomacy remain highly uncertain, carrying significant and potentially transformative implications for all involved.